Hi everybody, it's Honest John again. Now, I guess it's pretty obvious that I'm finished with formal education. I'm finished with school. I'm not going to be enrolling in any classes, either for fun or for profit. So I have no skin in the game when it comes to the debate about reforming education. I don't have kids. I'm just not that involved with it. I think it is obvious that our education system has not kept up with advances in technology, and it is not meeting the needs of our kids. I don't really know that much about education reform or about Common Core, which is appears to be the next wave in education reform. I've read a little bit about it, and evidently it's about raising standards in education, having basic requirements that all schools and students will be required to meet. And none of that seems like a bad idea. I'm concerned that this may lead to more emphasis on standardized tests, look, standardized tests are a very useful tool in assessing a student's individual strengths and weaknesses and designing education programs for particular students. What standardized tests are not meant to do and cannot possibly do is to assess the merits of a school. Schools with a high percentage of kids with special needs, or kids that have English as a second language, will not do as well on standardized tests just because of that situation. That does not mean that the school is not a good school or performing the things that it needs to do. As a matter of fact, in some ways, a school that provides for students like that is actually doing better work than a school that might perform better on standardized tests. But on the whole, higher standards, more responsibility, those are good ideas. Some objections to the Common Core standards seem to be reasonable, and again, it's concerns about whether they're going to use tests to evaluate teachers and things like that. But some objections to higher standards by certain groups border on the absurd. Teachers' unions, like I said, they have some valid objection to certain kinds of assessments of teachers, but it does appear that they're more interested in protecting bad teachers than encouraging excellent ones. Some parents' groups are upset because their children are not scoring as well on tests. They like seeing their children get high scores, even if those high scores are meaningless. The idea that we should maintain the status quo just to make students and parents feel good is not a good idea. But even sillier than this is the Republicans' take on Common Core. They pushed for Common Core standards for years. They wanted responsibility, they wanted higher standards. They pushed for this. Now they're turning against it, simply because the Obama administration is for it. Now, since Obama was elected, we've been seeing the GOP walking away from their own ideas time and time again. Tax reform. The Republicans pushed for tax reform. When Obama said, okay, let's do tax reform, they said, oh, no, let's not do it. Obamacare was actually a Republican idea. Instead of joining in and being able to take some credit for it, which they could have done, they turned against it. Their own idea. Common Core, Republican idea. Now, this creates a couple of problems for Republicans. First of all, since they're turning against their own ideas, they don't have any ideas to replace them. It's hard enough for Republicans to come up with one idea about something. To come up with another idea to replace their first idea, well, that's coming up with two ideas, and Republicans aren't very good at that. And second, they appear to have no integrity. Matter of fact, they have no integrity. If you really believe in something, if you really think that an idea is a good idea, then it doesn't matter who agrees or disagrees with you. You stand on that idea. But that's not what the Republicans do. They keep turning against their own ideas based on who is for them and who is against them. As a result, there is no one in this country who really knows what conservatives stand for, especially conservatives. All they know is that if Obama is for it, they're against it. Thanks for listening.